I kind of want to talk about a little bit too about how do you stay positive? Like, you told me before about how you didn't want to disappoint the people that, you know, were in your life that got you to that point. But I'm sure there has been, you know, a lot of times where you're still like, how do I continue? Is this the right path I'm going on? How do I continue on this path? You know what I mean? Like, I want to know, because like, even for me, you know, you try very hard to stay positive all the time, but sometimes that little negativity, you know, comes in, and you start wondering, okay, is this the right journey? Like, am I making the right, you know, moves? Am I making a mistake? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'll tell you two different stories. In that same time I was in school, I was having a hard time because I was battling a bunch of injuries as well too. And so during that time, there was a span of like 3 months where I got hurt. My GPA fell. One of my friends passed away back home in Calgary, and I couldn't go back to the I couldn't go to the funeral. And so I was kind of in a dark space, not necessarily dark space in the sense of, you know, committing suicide or anything, but there is always the depression state that can go any type of way.
Mhm.
And so for me, it was tough. But what I did was this, and I encourage anybody to do the same. When you cannot change your environment, you can change what you feed your mind. So what I did was I started listening to motivational things like speakers on YouTube. I would listen to them in the mornings before I would go to school, before I'd go to weights. I would listen to them on my way in between campus. I would listen to certain things, anything positive that I could feed my mind. I needed that. Even when I wasn't consciously listening to it, my subconscious was getting the words and the affirmations. So I actually created the environment that I wish I had physically, right? So every single day, and I mean days on days, hours on hours, that's what I would do. And I would bring the environment to me if I couldn't go out and get it. And then I started to tunnel my vision and my writings into other things. I started to like write on my phone. I started to write on papers, and I started to just trying to change what I was doing physically. So it actually, that moment, I started writing a book. I didn't know it was a book. It had just started being little notes, you know, just like, for example, it would be like Thursday, August 5th, and it would be like state of mind. And I would write about the state of mind and how to shift it back then to what I, you know, worked for me. And so I actually created the environment that I wish I had, from a dark space. Even though we can't always change the environment, we can change what we think about the environment. And that alone will help our mannerisms. You know, we'll walk a little bit taller, you know, we'll be a little bit more joyful. Even though sadness and hard times can follow us, joy we can do and find gratitude in those dark times. Everybody's always after chasing happiness, right? And I think happiness is the aspiration, right? Sometimes we feel happy, sometimes we don't. You know, we aspire to be happy at all times, but that's not always going to happen. However, we can be joyful in every single moment, right? Because if we understand that no matter how dark it may be, we got breath in our bodies. A lot of people don't have that. You can find joy in that. And so that's what I did. And so in the moments of uncertainty, you know, let's be honest, these are uncertain times.
Man, preach.
These are very uncertain time. One of the scripture that has really helped me, and I always go to it, is Galatians 6 verse 9, where it says, "Do not be weary for doing good, for at the proper time you will reap a harvest if you don't give up." If you don't give up, you know, so it's just kind of saying, look, keep doing good things, keep being a positive person as best as you can, keep doing the best that you can with what you're given, and in due time every seed that you planted, every time you showed up, every single time that you wanted to sleep in all day, every day, and sit on the couch and watch Netflix, the fact that you got up and you got a workout in, and you went for a walk, or you checked on somebody, or you did something that shifted and made an impact in some way. Because impact, people think impact is this big thing, but it starts very small, doing small things and planting small seeds. And so for me, I always find encouraging in knowing that if I continue doing good things, continue planting good seeds, continue moving on faith, continue being courageous enough to act on my thoughts and my dreams and my goals, that in due time, if I don't give up, it'll happen. The Bible does not talk about anything that isn't true. It teaches principles and promises.
Mm-hmm.
God does not fall short on his promises. And so in times of uncertainty, the best thing that you can do is to continue showing up, even when you don't know what tomorrow is going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just continue showing up and just do a little bit each day, that will help times of uncertainty. Because when you think about it, not the first time we ever been uncertain before. There's been some other times.
Oh, yes, I know. I think it's people tend to forget very quickly. I agree with you because as I kind of said at the beginning, like in terms of those quotes and those videos and stuff, that's kind of why I like you so much, is because, and they're like really short, but those little videos and those speeches or quotes or whatever it is that you're listening to can really help, because it really like kind of checks you almost, you know what I'm saying? And I also found it, I don't know if you've heard of Ed Milet. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy him too. He's, he talks a little bit more about entrepreneurial, but what I like about you and him and some of the other public inspirational speakers is, again, like, they tell you things that but they just say it like honestly. They're like, okay, like if you want to get where you're getting, don't give up. Like it's so simple. All of this stuff is so simple, but you kind of get, with your environment. And I love what you said about environment, because your environment doesn't need to affect your spirit and affect your mind, right? But sometimes it does, right? And you kind of get into your own world and you're like, oh, woe is me, or why is this happening to me, or whatever. But I do want to say, like, I agree with you, because I did listen to a lot of, your stuff and other people's stuff. And I feel like you just get like so motivated or inspired. And you're like, okay, yeah, like if they can do it, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? So no, I totally agree with you there. I also kind of wanted to chat about, a little bit about like my story. I don't think you know too much about it, but so I obviously had a dream. I wanted to go to Miss Universe Canada, mm-hmm. or Miss Universe, sorry. And to get to Miss Universe was Miss Universe Canada. And there's a lot of things that happened with that. There's a lot of things that happen with that.
I was watching one of the videos and you were talking a little bit about it.
Yes. There's more to come, but yes, a lot of things happen with that. So basically I didn't achieve my goal. And then I was given the opportunity to go to Miss Universe. Now, it wasn't the way that I wanted it at all, right? I thought it was supposed to be a certain way. And then because of that way, obviously I didn't get to where, I dreamed to get for years and years and years. And it was hard because, when you have a goal that you are passionate about, and that's like what you're like striving for years. And then for some reason, like, not only did I not get there the way not only did I get there not the way I thought I would, but then I didn't get what I wanted out of it. It's kind of like you don't know where to go, you kind of, for me, I felt like at a point I lost my identity. I was like, well, what now? Like, what am I supposed to do? Right. So I want to talk a little bit about like, okay, so like adapting and shifting and finding your new, purpose. I saw a video that I really liked, and you were talking about like a tree. And I don't know, I want to talk about that a little bit, because I'm sure a lot of people in any aspects, whether it's sports or, your career or whatever, you might not get where you're going, or you might not get there the way that you're thinking, but how do you come out of that still on top?
The other day,
it's a lot.
No, it's good. The other day, I was cleaning. I was looking for something. I think I was looking for the small book. And when you're looking for something, you never really find it.
Of course, it's always, they say, the last place you look, which is.
And like, I'm tearing my room apart trying to find this book. And I couldn't find the book, but I found this. It was my old wallet from years ago. And inside the wallet, I had like notes and stuff. I'm like, what is this? So I opened the note, and it was all of these things that I wanted to accomplish at a certain age. Not one of those came true. Not one of those came true.
Well,
And so
yeah.
I think it's very important to know that everything that we think is going to happen doesn't always play out at the time frame and how we expect it to. Right. When we think about, success and our goals, we think about this linear thing that just goes up and up and up and up and up, but it never goes like that. And so a lot of the times I have found, especially in my life, that the person who I was becoming was something that I could always take with me. Right. You can always take what you've learned with you. You can always take your experiences with you. Right. And as you reach a certain point, you may have reached Miss Universe where you wanted to get to. You would have got there and you probably would have said, well, what's next?
Exactly.
Oh,
I did.
and you probably wouldn't have remembered the moment as much as you would have remembered what it took to get there.
Yeah.
And so I remembered I got the medal.
Yeah, that's true.
I got the medal. And within 20 minutes of getting the Olympic medal, I was like, well, that was cool. And I didn't remember, I enjoyed the moment. I was being present in the moment, but I remembered all of the other moments that got me to this point. Right. And I realized that every single thing that we go through, we have to be able to know that we are much stronger than we give ourselves credit for. The knowledge and the wisdom that we have in different stages, we gain insight because of what we have been through. So we may not reach every single goal that we set for ourselves. That's okay. It happens. But who are you once you get there? How are you getting there? I think we all get to a certain destination, but sometimes we don't like the person who we are when we get there. And so I would like to, every goal that I've set for myself, I have gotten a plan to get there. I don't always know. To be completely honest, I know the beginning stages of the plan and I know the end of the plan. I know what I'm going to do and I know what it looks like towards the end once I get there, but I have no idea what the middle looks like. And I think that's the most frustrating thing, right? Because we all want to know step 1, step 2, but we don't always know. But does that mean that you should belittle your dream and not dream as big? Absolutely not, right? But how you get to a certain destination, I think, is much more important than actually getting to the destination. A person may say, wow, I want to make a 5 million, 10 million, I want to be a billionaire. But what if you get to that stage and you become the billionaire, but you've burnt your bridges along the time to get there? You've lost your family, you've lost the people that are closest to you because you were so focused on becoming and reaching that goal that you forgot that everybody else along with you, they have dreams too. And they probably need a little bit of help and they probably need different things. And you sacrificed all of those other great moments to reach this one thing. How you get there is very important. And I want to make sure that everything that I say that I'm going to do, that I am honest about it. I give my best effort to get there, but I don't lose myself along the way.
I love that. So what can you tell people that, maybe didn't achieve, what they got, in terms of how do you restart your journey, right? How do you, shift or pivot and get back to the mindset that, okay, it didn't happen for me. Okay. Because I think that's hard, right? Because you're so ingrained in this journey, like your example about becoming a millionaire. which maybe they can still achieve it, but let's just say for this purpose, I want to be a millionaire in 5 years, and in 5 years you're not a millionaire, and you're, living in a 1-bedroom apartment, you don't have a job, you're not anywhere close to where you want to be. And how do you kind of shift your mindset to readapt yourself,
Yeah, I think the first thing is you got to get yourself in a state of mind to be able to adapt.
Yeah.
Right. And so I would first start with, it goes back to scripture, be faithful over few before I make you ruler over many. Right. So every single thing that is in your possession, you have to be grateful for it, be thankful for it. Don't do your best not to compare, even though it's going to be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But do your best to use whatever it is that is in your possession. Right. Those are what you can use to make your situation better. Right. You may not have the best hand of the cards that you've been dealt, but you still got to play the hand. It's still your move. And so you have to. The other thing that I would say is, look, in a world where it tries to make us like everybody else, right? We have to know our significance within ourselves and our own journey. And first, you have to ask yourself, what really matters to you? Like, what really matters to you? What is going to make you joyful? And what is going to make you happy? What matters to you? Do you really want these things because you want it and you believe God put it in your heart? Or do you just want it because your friend got it? Mm-hmm. Or this person on TV got it? Like, what do you want for you? And I think once you get to those points and you ask yourself those questions, then you can kind of decide where to go from there. But I honestly think once you ask yourself those questions, you'll have some insight on how to make your situation a little better. And it's going to take time, right? So, it's always interesting whenever I see people say, they accomplished this and accomplished that, and they say at this age. And I'm like, cool, that's good. Like that's beautiful. But the video you were talking about, as I was talking about the tree, I realized that wherever you plant a tree, it doesn't grow in the same way, right? And when we're thinking about the things that we want for ourselves, we should all want to be better. We should all want some things. We should all want to strive to be the best that we can be. But don't think because you haven't gotten there at a certain age makes you a failure. No, it just means that you have a little bit more to go and to endure. Sometimes God hides us for a reason. Sometimes he takes us the long way because there is something else that we need to learn within ourselves before he can say, you know what? Well done, my faithful servant. Here, this is what I had for you. But I had to take you the long way for you to get this. Mm-hmm. And so I think in answering those questions, a starting place, going back to it, first starts with two things, being grateful for what you have right now at this moment, and also asking yourself, what is it that I really want from myself, right? And joy and happiness, most people think comes from these big things, but, it first starts within your own heart. Mm-hmm. We have to take ourselves wherever that we go. We're the one constant in the journey. But whatever you think is on the inside, that is what's going to manifest on the outside. Sometimes you need to clear your own clutter before you make your next move.
Totally. So how do you kind of get rid of the outside, naysayers, the people that, tell you can't do it, or try to, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's people you don't know? How do you block all of that, those negative?
So I've been very fortunate to accomplish some cool things. The good Lord has put me in some positions, and I've hopefully been a good steward of the talents that he gave me athletically. But I would catch a lot of slack from that. People would say, man, we don't see Akeem like that anymore, man. This guy thinks he's too good for us and this and that. But I was working towards something. Another situation, I started my own foundation. To help single parent households who are struggling and maybe their kids need a little bit more guidance or mentorship. And, some help with some financial things. I started that and people were giving me a hard time. And I share those two things because regardless of what you do, someone is always going to say something. So we have so we have to know that so we have to know that alone right there, you can solve world hunger. And somebody is going to say, well, why'd you do it that way?
Yeah.
Someone's always going to say something.
Yeah.
But it's just, my grandmother used to say to me, she used to say, Akeem, it's not what people call you, it's what you answer to. And if a person does not take the time to get to know you, you have every right to disregard what they say.
Mm-hmm.
And that always came and stuck with me, right? If a person isn't in your close circle or you don't value their opinion, why do you care? So continue doing the good things, continue pursuing your goals and your dreams, because not everybody's going to understand, and that's okay. You don't need everybody to understand. I always kind of say it like this, right? Like, people always think that we need everybody to believe in our dreams and the things that we want, right? And we just want that because it makes us feel good. But the reason why people support your goals and your dreams sometimes is not because they can see it, but they believe in you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They don't believe in your dreams per se because they can't see it. It's not their job to see it. It's our dreams. God put us inside us for a reason. So you can't get mad at somebody for not seeing your dreams. If they believe in you, the person, they'll believe in you. They'll support you. They'll want to help you. But our dreams is ours, and it's up to us to manifest it and make it a reality wherever it takes us, right? Because sometimes the greatest lessons when pursuing the dreams are the lessons that we learn along the way.
Along the way, yeah.
So we have to know that people is always going to say something regardless of what it is. And we have to know that once we believe and we feel compelled to do something, God put a purpose inside all of us, and we got to dig deep to find that purpose. It is up to you to do your best to fulfill that purpose, and know that if you weren't doing something in this world that matters to you, someone wouldn't be talking. We all want to be talked about, but you dictate the narrative of what they say.
Boom. Exactly. And, I think too, like, I love what you said there. And I think too, sometimes that negativity that people are saying to you has nothing to do with you. It's them.
Oh, come on now.
Right?
Come on now.
Yeah. Right. It's them. It's they're jealous, or they wish that they could do that, or circumstances or whatever. And it's really none of your business. Right. So I love that, because it's like, and I think sometimes that's what gives me solace, right? It's like, you know what, this might not even be my issue, right? It's their issue. Why would I let their issue dictate my future, right? So love that. I have to say, like, I selfishly, because we're running out of time, I really wanted to just talk to you myself. Like, I was like, I just want to talk to this guy and get some good, motivational insight into kind of how you go about doing things. But I also thought, I think that a lot of people would value with, what you have to say. And it comes from a place of your life and what you've gone through and experiences you have. And I think I got a lot out of this, but I think one of the biggest things I got out of it is that, you need to focus on your journey, and however you get there, whether it sometimes what I like, that you said in terms of he might take you the long way, right? And you're like, yeah, like, what is going on?
It's been years. What's going
on? But maybe it's because you're not ready. You're not ready for what is planned, right? And so I just, everything you said, just like, I have goosebumps. It's just so good. Tell people where to find you. I know you talked a little bit about your book, but tell them, I know you have like a YouTube and you have Instagram and you have a website and books and all sorts of things. So tell people where to find you.
Well, first, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. And thank you for sharing that with me. People never tell me things, so I appreciate that. But, I've always been a person who I'll never talk about fluff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll never be someone who talks about things that I haven't lived. I'll
Exactly.
never give an advice that I haven't taken myself, because I don't believe in that. Like, why
Mm-hmm.
would you, why would you tell me something that you haven't
Haven't
used or haven't,
experienced.
you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, first of all, you're lying to me. I can't trust you.
Exactly. It's like, oh, have you done that? Well, no, but I
But
know.
no, I was thinking about it. Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at underdog AKH. Same with Twitter. YouTube is just Akeem Haynes. The website is www.akeeminspires.com. And so podcast is Unscripted with
Yeah.
Akeem Haynes. And so everything is kind of out there. Different services, different things. But I think when we get to the core of it, the titles of what we are, at the end of the day, you know, we're, we're in the service industry. We're all trying to serve in some way, right?
Mhm.
And who is the best server of them all? Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm trying to do everything in my power to do as he did with what I have.
Mhm.
We'll never be as perfect as he is.
No,
He's on a different scale.
no.
But our purpose in this world is to leave this world better off than how we found it for those coming behind us in our own capacity, whatever that looks like. Right. I started training people and showing people how to speak, how they can speak and make money speaking, because you never know what a person's story can do for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, like, and so I think everything that we do in life, we have to find our purpose in it, and seek to find that, and to find a way to operate in that for the rest of our lives, because I think that's how we make the world a better place.
No kidding. So quickly, what's like next for you? I don't know if like, are you, obviously you're going to continue on this journey, but what's your dream?
Yeah. So, uh, you know, the ultimate goal on that paper that I was telling you about has said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the ultimate goal for me, and it's not even necessarily about winning it. I would love for one day to win a Nobel Peace Prize, but it's not necessarily about the winning of it, but to be able to be mentioned in the same category as those before me. Talking about the Martin Luther Kings, the Nelson Mandelas, the Maya Angelos. It's not about the award, but if your name is mentioned in there, and sometimes people don't get the recognition of the great things they're doing in the world, but for that one thing, that award is about people who put others first and try to make a difference, and have them make a difference despite how many times they were scared to do it, scared to act, how vulnerable it made them feel, the confusion, the critics. But they found a way to say, you know what? This is much bigger than myself. And so that is the ultimate goal. If it is in God's plans, perfect. It is. If it is not, I'm still going to be my best to represent hope to anybody who may be seeking to find it. But on, I guess, a smaller scale, definitely going to be speaking. It's been a good month of speaking last month, actually. So very grateful for those opportunities, and I'm
I
just
can
going to
imagine,
continue.
especially
I'm
right
just gonna.
now.
Uh, I'm just going to find a way to serve and to keep fulfilling the purpose that I believe God put in my heart, whatever scale that may look like.
Yeah. And just quickly, I just want to reiterate what you said there, because I guess I never really thought about that in terms of, your Martin Luther. I mean, you think about that, but not entirely your Martin Luther King, Maya Angelou, all the rest, that they all, in terms of being scared, right? In terms of having adversity, like I guess I never really thought about that, because you see these people as such strong, powerful people that are standing there and doing this stuff, but they were, scared too, and they had a ton of adversity, and they had a ton of naysayers, and they had a ton of critics, but they kept on going through their journey, and look at, and they were able to, yes, they are long gone, but has anybody forgotten them? No, right? So
Yeah,
that's
it's
interesting.
it's 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 so good that you said that, because I think there's a presence and an essence about all of us, right? And our presence and our essence will last longer than we're physically here,
Mm-hmm.
right? when I think about, Mandela, first of all, this man's forgiveness level is on a different scale.
Different
Because
level. No kidding.
to be honest, if that was me, once I got out, I'm fighting everybody. I'm fighting everybody. And then maybe when I end up back in jail, I'd be like, you know what, that was probably not the best thing to do. But
Oh.
but I've also realized this. Even strong people get tired of being strong sometimes.
Yeah.
And so it's very important that the people who we consider strong, we have to make sure that they know that they're not alone. Because each and every single one of those people that I just named, and there's so many more people who probably aren't even mentioned right now, they have people in their corner that help them. That, Martin Luther King in his speech was talking about, I don't remember his name offhand, but he was talking about his closest confidant was this person who he could confide in and tell him how he felt and tell him, I don't know how this is going to go. And so if we try to do everything alone by ourselves, it will be the loneliest road that we can take. I always wondered why, and I'll stop with this because I'll continue going, but I always wonder why in the scripture, why is it that Jesus sent his disciples out in twos? Why did he do that? Because himself can do everything. But why did he send his disciples out in two? Okay, you take this half, you take this half. And I realized he knew that it would be too much for one person to go by themselves alone because of the ridicule, because of what was going to happen. You're going to end up in jail here. And he knew that he needed to send them in two so they could be a supporting cast for each other. We need to remember that we can't do this thing by ourselves.
Wow. I never even thought about that. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're right. I can go on and on and on with you. You have so much wisdom, so many things to say. I am so happy and thankful and appreciative for you to, spend your very precious time to chat with me. I know you're a very busy person, but I can't say this enough. Like, I really feel like everything that you speak about really hits home, and it can hit home to anybody. It does for me. And I really appreciate, I don't know, you talk about impact. There's a lot of impact that you've had on my life. So I thank you. Wow. Yeah. And so
thank you.
Yeah.
If you ever want to do a part 2, you just let me know.
I do. I was thinking, I'm like, there are so many things this man is saying that's just speaking to me right now. I would love to do a part 2 with you. And I hope everybody, enjoys this as much as I did. And, keep doing what you're doing. What you're doing, honestly, is amazing. And I do think you'll get to where you're trying to get to. I truly believe that. I mean, I heard about you once, and look at like one time. I heard about you one time, and I was like, hey, let me do some research on this guy, and I was impressed. So thank you. I know we're a little over. Thank you so much for your time. I can't say this enough. I'm so appreciative, and I hope you have a great day, a great rest of your day, and I will be in touch, and hopefully we can do this again.
Oh, it's not hopefully. We will do it again. Okay. You just let me know when. Okay, but good. Thank you again so much. I really enjoyed this discussion. You asked some very thought-provoking questions. And good. Who knows? You may have a little analyst TV show situation happening in these next couple of years.
Well, who knows? Maybe. Thank you so much, Akeem. And I'll be in touch.
Perfect. We'll talk soon. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.